very well. Echo comes to visit. Echo, you call him the part-time batcher.
Yes.
The part-time bad batcher. He shows up. And
he shows up to make his brief appearance and then completely and utterly disappear again.
Well, I mean, we don't know that. I mean, he's still there at the end of episode 5.
It's just Echo's.
Okay, well, anyway, so Echo is there to help the batch. They're trying to find Tantiss. They have no idea where it is, where it's located.
Looks like we're having sound issues.
Oh, we're having sound issues. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. All right, we'll just keep going then. All right, so hopefully you can hear us. Let us know if you can. Okay, so Echo is trying to help the batch.
Yeah.
Locate Tantiss. What they have is a datapad for knowledge says datapad, which Omega used, and they think that they may be able to find a facility where they can actually plug this datapad into the facility
so they can get their data back.
Right, and maybe it can encrypt what is on the datapad to give them the location of Tantiss. And it just so happens that Crosshair knows a place, and it is the outpost.
Crosshair is that one dude in the friend group who knows a guy.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Crosshair goes back to the outpost. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So of course we call it the monster of the week. I think Record made a joke about why is there always a monster? This time it's a worm. They call it a worm. That
was it
is
worm like WYRM?
Yeah, WYRM. Right. Okay.
Well, that's just worm. Like, how are you supposed to differentiate that?
Well, right. But anyway, so it travels through the snow. It's this big bad, monster thing. They take care of it. Turns out they couldn't find any information on the datapad that would lead them to Tantiss. So once again,
the mission was a bust.
Yeah, they left.
Imagine what it got swallowed by that worm.
Yeah, why? How about that? Yeah, and that was huge.
And they did all this for like nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean, they keep trying, but it's not easy. This is the Empire. The Empire. They try not to leave a trace. And they. I mean, what can you say about the Empire? I mean, they're very organized. They have an operation going on. They know how to keep secrets from other people. It's always on a need-to-know basis. But anyway, so that's basically the episode. But what I want to discuss is I want to bring up 2 points, right? I want to talk about Hunter. The first one is talking about Hunter and Crosshair's relationship. All right. So if you've seen the episode, spoiler review, if you've seen the episode, they don't say much to each other, not until the very end, but there's a lot of the looks, the stares, very interesting. And when I saw this, it took me back to what their relationship has been up to this point, right? And from the very beginning, and I mean the very beginning, episode 1, season 1, Hunter and Crosshair did not get along, right?
Or even back as far as the Clone Wars.
Well, okay, all right.
Season.
Okay, well, let me take it back to the first episode of season 1. And this is when Order 66 just been executed by the Emperor. Well, you know what happened? The chips and the clones just activate and they start taking out the Jedi wherever they are. It doesn't impact Hunter or Crosshair or the other members of the batch. But Crosshair does, I guess his chip did activate just a little because he kept repeating good soldiers follow orders. And he started going after this little Padawan, right, named Caleb Doom. All right. Chasing him through the snowy planet. But Hunter is trying to help the little boy and say, well, hey, I don't know what's going on, but let's figure this out. But Crosshair says, no, good soldiers follow orders. He wants to take out Caleb Doom. And Hunter allows Caleb to escape. And ever since then, Crosshair has had regrets about what Hunter did. He challenges his leadership. I mean, he just laid into Hunter that entire episode, and it led to Hunter. It led to Crosshair actually changing sides, right? He became, well, they all try to work for the Empire. It didn't work out, obviously, and they were, put in the brig, for disobeying orders. But Crosshair stayed loyal and true to the Empire. So they went their separate ways. So the batch went and they went on their missions to try to make a living for themselves. Crosshair went and worked with the Empire. Okay. So let's go to Q&A and let's see who's here. Thank you very much. I'm glad you can now hear us, but let's see who's here. Thank you. We got Alex. I'm surprised that the Empire didn't try to remotely disable login access for Nalsa's datapad. That makes a good point. Perhaps they have bad IT practices on their IT team, was choked by Vader. Well, that's an excellent point, because
maybe he found their lack of faith in their technology disturbing, and
that's
he
right.
decided,
yeah,
no more access.
I guess you could chalk that up to a little plot hole. That yes, like if you were working for an actual company and you steal a laptop or a tablet,
it'll be locked down on
absolutely.
site. Like the minute you don't see that laptop, it's getting locked, it's getting passworded.
Right. You're unable to use it. You can't do anything in it. You can't access anything. But yeah, well, maybe that's the reason why they couldn't get any information from the datapad, because, well, they didn't say it was locked down. They just couldn't find the location of Tantiss. But very good point, Alex. Bringing it back to the real world. All right, Jose, thank you. Thank you for joining us for another week. The work looked like Dune films. Oh, the worm. Yes, looked like Dune. Yeah, I thought about that when I saw that. Yeah. Did you see Dune? Let me know what you think of Dune. 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 D-U-N-E.
Dune and Dune.
Yeah. So it did remind me of the sandworm. All right. And you have anything else? Okay. All right. Ghost Daniels. No. Okay. Hey, Father Son Galaxy, my second annual episode. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Ghost Daniels. Thank you so much. Great to have you. And I love the episode so much. Yeah. Let's talk about it. So like I said, I mean, on the surface, it may look like, okay, nothing is happening. It's not really pushing anything as far as the narrative. Nothing is happening. But that's not really true. You got to look at the characters, so it's always about, keeping your focus on what these characters are thinking, what they're doing, where are they now, where have they been. So I thought it was interesting to just go back and reflect on how far Hunter and Crosshair have come. So we were talking about them just not getting along at all. And they went their separate ways. And then it turns out that, Crosshair had made some bad mistakes, and, we'll talk a little bit more about Crosshair because we want to talk about the Outpost episode from season 2. But for some reason, Crosshair will not won't let it go that, he feels that Hunter is always to blame for any decision or any situation that the batch is in. Is Hunter's fault.
Yeah,
right?
Like during that fight, Crosshair's like, it's because of your decisions that Omega got captured. Mm-hmm. You're just upset she escaped with my help, not yours.
Exactly,
and
right.
Hunter's like, Crosshair, listen, it's not my fault, okay? Like, what are you upset about, Crosshair?
Yeah, right.
He was just irrationally upset.
It was a blame game, with Crosshair, right? And then
they were pointing fingers.
Yeah, how about he's taking credit for saving Omega? Who would have thought?
It's like Omega went to save him.
Yeah.
Dude would have left her behind.
Yeah.
In fact, he didn't even have a plan.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Well, okay, so let's move on. Well, and talk about Crosshair and talk about the Outpost episode from season 2. All right.
Yeah, for more on this, rewatch our episode, but after this video, of course.
True, right? We do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to go full deep into that episode because, right, we did do a review, but I want to just think about, let's be Crosshair for a little bit, okay? Now, what happened with Crosshair in the Outpost episode was very traumatic, right? First of all, he's sent there on a mission to retrieve some material or equipment, crates. He meets up with a clone named Mayday, and Mayday is explained to him, well, they've been here for weeks or months or whatever. Some of his men didn't even survive because they're waiting so long for support or someone to relieve them of their duties. And then they're trying to figure out, okay, well, what is this mission about? What are in these crates? What do the Empire want with it? Come to find out that what's in the crates are armor, not for clones, but for stormtroopers. All right. What a slap in the face is that? The clones are risking their lives for armor to be used by somebody else. It was pretty cruel.
That's basically like giving somebody else the weapon they're going to use to take you down.
Yes, I like that. Yeah,
It's kind of a real shock, the fact that they're doing this fetch quest and risking their lives so the Empire can get rid of them faster while getting new gear for their next troopers.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I like it. I like how you said that. So it was very interesting that this is what they find. Of course, things don't go as planned. Their lives are in danger. Lives meaning Crosshair and Mayday. Mayday is severely injured. Crosshair, just like a brother, like in the war, is not going to leave his brother behind. So he carries him and takes him back to the ship area or to the docks to get him help. All right. So they live past the danger. Crosshair brings Mayday to the Imperial officer, and he pleads for help for Mayday. Mayday needs a doctor. He needs help. This Imperial officer decides, I'm not doing anything about it. I don't need him. He's a clone. I don't care about him. And you know what Crosshair did? Well, Crosshair said, okay, well, Lieutenant, boom. He's gone.
He said lieutenant.
Right. Right. And he's gone. And then, well, of course, we know what happens.
He's on the ground.
So that leads Crosshair in custody of the Empire before he broke out with Omega. All right, let's go to Q&A. Let's see what we have so far. Let's talk about this. Alex says, good points. They're treated as if they're expendable chess pieces. Absolutely. All right. The Empire doesn't care about clones. Now, Echo and Crosshair have been experimented on. That's a very good point in different ways. I like that. Yeah, because, they tried to experiment on Crosshair. Maybe, it seems that, he was tortured and they tried to get him, whatever they use, some tactic they use to try to get him to become an assassin for the Empire and be this assassin to take out other clones. I don't know how Crosshair withstood the pain and the pressure, but apparently it did not impact him. But I don't know. We'll
clearly it did because he has this new shaky hand.
Well, right. The trauma of it. Yes, it did. Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Okay. I saw Dune 2 this past weekend, and my mom and I loved it so much. Yeah, I love the warm writing. But the way the Dune walked was like they were doing a dance.
We said the same thing.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far into Dune, but yeah, through the sand. I'm a ballerina myself, and I now wanted to choreograph a dance to the Dune. Why not? I wouldn't be surprised if you see, TikTok videos out there about that dance, because we picked up on it too. It was pretty interesting. The way that the clones are being treated reminds me of how veterans are treated in real life. Yes, unfortunately, the show feels realistic in a way, and doesn't surprise me that Jennifer Corbett is a veteran, which is absolutely true.
Amazing.
Yeah, and she is the head writer, so she knows from experience. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the vulture. Okay. Now in the outpost, there is this vulture that just keeps looming, like a dark cloud over Crosshair. And you see Crosshair would look at the vulture, and just something I don't know, like this facial expression that Crosshair has, is just something just comes over him, like, this vulture is telling him something. it's a symbol for something. Is it a symbol for freedom? Is it a symbol for um, you know surviving? There was a question that you asked. We were very nice enough to be a part of this roundtable with Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao, and you asked a question. All right, and I have it written down here. Your question was to Jennifer and Brad was, can you explain how you developed the story and why you choose a vulture to represent Crosshair as a vicious creature trying to find a way to survive? So Jen Corbett responded that the vulture is a survivor and a solitary figure, just like Crosshair. The imagery was very intentional.
You think Crosshair's gonna stick with the badge?
You want the truth?
Yes.
I don't know. So let me just finish up because this brings me to my point about your question. I'm glad you asked that question. So now that Crosshair has returned to the same place where he saw some of his clone brothers go down and die, Mayday especially, where he took out an Imperial officer, where he saw the vulture and then he was arrested and taken into custody by the Empire, all this happening at this outpost, and he's returning to this place, in just such a short period of time. I can imagine what type of trauma this is. Like, it's like going back to the scene of a crime,
just like Madam Web did.
Yeah, like you witnessed something happening. You saw a crime and you flee, and then you're asked to come back to the scene of the crime, like all these visions and nightmares and whatever it is that's going through your head. This is what's happening with Crosshair. Now, one thing that I noticed was that vulture once again came back and is circling around, and Crosshair looks at it, and then you just see this darkness just come over Crosshair, like something just happened. And you can also hear it in the music. When his theme plays, it's a darker tone, or it's a darker musical cue that's played. It tells me that something bad is going to happen. And here's to getting back to your question. I do think that Crosshair, unfortunately, is going to betray the batch once again. Now, what that is, how that's going to happen, I don't know. But I have the feeling, Crosshair is scared. What's happening to him, he has no idea what's happening. He knows that the war is over. He's no longer working with the Empire. He's got this tremor in his hand. He feels that maybe there's no use for him. He's a sharpshooter and he can't even shoot. What was the droid said he was like
53% accurate.
Yeah, 53% accurate.
Honestly, if he betrays the badge, somebody's gonna have to kill him. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Well, okay, I hear what you're saying. I mean, this is
the
just
second time he's done this.
Well, okay, it's my opinion. We don't know if he is, but something about his demeanor when he sees that vulture, and that vulture will not go away, and he's looking at it, and he's thinking about that vulture, and that vulture symbolizes him, the solitary clone. Like, he's going to try to figure out how to go out on his own terms. What that means for the batch, I think he's going to probably just leave them behind again. Maybe he may decide to change his mind and go back to work for the Empire. I don't know, but something is not right with Crosshair. And I think he's just lost right now. Like, he doesn't know where to turn. What is he? Yeah, what is his purpose now that he's no longer a soldier? Can he do anything else besides being a soldier? What's his purpose?
His purpose is to stick with the Bad Batch.
I hear you.
Now that Tech's dead,
we
never got to see all 5 of the original members back together. 4 of the original members back together.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
He better stay with the Bad Batch.
That's a good point. Speaking of Tech, did you pick this up that unless I forgot, that Echo was actually the first person in this season that mentioned Tech's name?
No.
Is that not true?
Well,
or did you not pick it up?
Well, I was thinking of Wrecker, but he never directly said Tech.
Right, he didn't say Tech. He said something like, the last time this happened, we lost, something or someone. But he didn't mention Tech's name.
And there was that moment of silence after Echo mentioned Tech.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, but I just found it interesting that, it took 5 episodes before someone mentions the name Tech.
They better bring Tech back.
Okay. All right, let's talk about it. Let's go to Q&A first, and then we'll talk about Tech. All right, what do we have for Q&A? We got, I'm with you not knowing if he'll stick with the batch. Yeah, it's something is just not right with Crosshair. He doesn't seem to me like a team player. He wants to go out on his own and, be his own person, make his own decisions, follow his own path. And going back to his relationship with Hunter, I've always felt that Crosshair might have been jealous of Hunter because
he gets to lead. Because
Hunter is the leader of this team, and I think Crosshair wanted that same respect from the rest of the batch members and didn't get it. And then what happens as a result is you have this sparring going between Hunter and Crosshair because you have 2 people who want to be the leader of the team, and you can only have one leader. And then that's the issue that's happening. Then I think it's going to happen again. Now I don't think Crosshair is ready to submit to having Hunter be his superior. Right?
Well, this is supposed to be the final season.
Yeah. But look, anything can happen. But I don't know. That just seems like a lot for Crosshair to change. Of course, anyone can change. Anyone can be redeemed, but it just seems like a lot. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. Hello to you. Thank you. Let me see. There's anything else I wanted to bring up? Yes, right. So at the end, let's just say, Jose says he thinks Crosshair is sick. Yeah, well, maybe. I think Crosshair's tremor is more mental than physical. Yeah, I could be. Very good point. Yeah, I think it's because of what he's been through. He's gone through a lot. Good theory. I can see Crosshair betraying the batch. I hope he doesn't, but it could happen. Yeah, it's very hard to say. Matthew, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Omega mentioned Tech's name when she said he made her memorize. You're right. There you go. All right. Omega mentioned Tech's name. Thank you so much for that. You're absolutely right, Matthew. Thank you. I think Crosshair will sacrifice himself. He could for the batch, maybe, or for his clones, for his brothers. He could. That could happen as well. Yeah. So, maybe, yeah, he would to save others. If it comes to a point where it's either him or the rest are saving the rest of the clones, maybe that could happen, that he might be in a position to sacrifice himself. As someone who struggles with mental health, I feel for Crosshair. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's very serious, as you know. But yeah, and good point about that is that, Crosshair is not actually seeking help. Omega has been trying to get him to, get his hand looked at, maybe talk it over with Hunter, whatever it is that you're feeling or what you're going through, talk to him. Now, to give Crosshair credit, he did at the end of the episode finally admit to Hunter that he did make some mistakes, which I think is a big deal.
I mean, is it?
That he made mistakes?
Yeah, of course he made mistakes. They all know that. He tried to saute them in an engine.
Well, okay, but this is the first time he confessed that he has made some mistakes. And
he's tried to murder the Bad Batch on multiple occasions.
I understand that, Keith, but he confessed to Hunter, of all people, right? The person he's been sparring with for 3 years, that he has made some mistakes, right? So maybe that is his way of maybe turning his life around, or maybe starting to redeem himself just by admitting that I've made mistakes, I've done wrong. I'm going to start blaming other people for the things that I've done. I should look at myself and see what I've done, right? And stop the blame game. So maybe going forward, Hunter and Crosshair can probably work together. We don't know. But I just feel that there is a something there with Crosshair. Again, when he looks at that vulture, that he's not quite there yet. He's not ready to, to give up on who he wants to be or who he thinks he should be. And I don't think he and Hunter are going to see eye to eye throughout the rest of the season. I hope so, but I don't know. All right. We want anything else? What do you think?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see. Crosshair looks like you want to tell the batch that are experimenting with clones at Mount Tantiss. Yeah, I think Crosshair wants to tell them a lot of things, but he's just not at the point where he's ready to do that. But I think he will. I think he will. I think this is a breakthrough. So if you let me say, I'm really hoping Crosshair's story doesn't end in a grand sacrifice. I want to see Star Wars do a big redemption story that doesn't end in death. Yeah. How about that? Oh, very cool.
That
you
would
agree
be
with
first.
that? Yeah, that would be a first. I don't know. I'm sure they. I don't know. Nothing comes to mind right now. Okay, all right. Vader, Kylo Ren, redemption, gone. Okay. Anyway. I can't think of anything. Great points. It's not easy to seek help and open up, so Crosshair's actions are understandable. Yeah. Yeah, if he can just keep that communication open with his brothers. You know what I liked at the end, and I think this is what made this episode so special, was that you needed to see the batch reconcile, right? The remaining members. So when Hunter and Crosshair returned, Wrecker ran out and gave them a big hug. So we needed to see that. So hopefully that means something, that the three of them can now continue to work together, right? And the ultimate goal is to free their brothers, right? And, anyone else who wants to be freed from the Empire's clutches, they got to get the clones out of Tantiss, right? And they got to do it. They got to work together.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's wrap this up.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Anyway, final comments as we wrap up. I like Crosshair, but we're Commander Cody. Commander Cody, is that your favorite clone?
I think you meant Where's.
Oh, where's Cody? Oh, I see. I think Cody. We're going to see Cody in this season. I don't remember. I used to push down my feeling. They just ended up making things worse, and I had to learn that I had to acknowledge that I needed help, and I'm in a better place. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know it's not easy, dealing with mental health, but yeah, it really begins with understanding where you are, where you need to be, and if you have a support team behind you. So hopefully Crosshair has that. Are we going to see Delta Squad after Bad Batch? I have no idea.
Yeah,
Delta Squad?
Clone Force 99 versus Delta Squad and Bad Batch.
Do you know anything about Delta Squad?
Yeah, they're like the same as the Bad Batch.
Okay.
They actually came before the Bad Batch. Less popular. They had an episode or two in the Clone Wars.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. I don't recall. You're the big Clone Wars fan, so I might have forgotten about it.
Yeah, I actually don't remember that episode. So
okay. All right.
I might need to rewatch it.
And by the way, after this series is over, what is next for Lucasfilm Animation? I hope they do something else.
As far as Lucasfilm, we have Acolyte, but I don't know what else they're animating.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I don't know. So Matthew says, that's great, Ghost Daniels. Thank you. I really like those Crosshair and Hunter conversations because you can see how hard it was for them to articulate those difficult truths they've been pushing down. Well said. That's a very good point. Yeah. And again, that's what makes this episode so special. So if you watched it and you thought that, nothing's really happening, nothing's going on, give it a watch, another watch, and understand where these characters, where they came from, where they are now, where they're trying to go. And I think it's a very, revealing story about these characters. That's what they're so well developed. And that's what great writing is about, right?
Yeah.
Great writing, great storytelling, direction. Kudos as always to D. Bradley Baker and Michelle Ang.
We didn't even talk about Batcher.
Yes. What do you want to say about Batcher?
Greatest pet in the galaxy. Batcher.
Greatest pet in the galaxy. All right, pretty cool. Right. Every time you bring up Batcher, I know you're leaning towards Dad. See, Batcher, dog. See, because you want a pet. And that's where you keep. Every time you bring up Batcher, like it's going to change my mind. I don't know.
It should, honestly.
It should.
People with dogs are seen to live longer.
Is that what they're saying?
Happier.
Is that what they're saying? Okay. All right. I don't know if I need a dog to
Got that one from Disney.
Okay. All right. Okay. As we wrap up, we do have a few news and announcements to make. if you don't already know, we had a great time interviewing Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong for their new book, Escape from Valo. It's a middle grade book based on the
I wanted to say Escape from Thunder Mountain. Okay. That was a music piece I played.
That maybe that's your book that you're going to write.
Never mind.
Okay. All right. So Escape from Valo, it came out a few weeks back. We were, so happy, and, we were fortunate to interview with them. It is available. You can get it on, your audio platform or on YouTube. It's wonderful. So please check it out. Let's see. So we had the pleasure of interviewing Mark Bernardin. All right. Okay. And that episode is not yet available, but it will be. So look out for that. Mark Bernard is actually the author of this new book.
Is that going to Patreon or straight to YouTube?
I don't know yet. Yeah.
Patreon.
Yeah. Probably
so
Patreon.
That'll be a Patreon release.
Yeah. Okay.
For a little while. And then we'll throw that bad boy on YouTube.
Yes, right. So what we're doing is, so these interviews that we're doing, just like with Daniel and Alyssa, that was available to our patrons. And if you're interested in becoming a patron, and you want to see this interview before everybody else, you can go ahead and log into our Patreon page and sign up and become a member.
Give me money so I can get the Skywalker Saga DLC.
Okay, give me money. Okay, all right. But anyway, so as I was saying, Mark Bernardin is the author of this Mace Windu comic book series. It's a 4-issue comic book series. Issue number 1 dropped last month, February. Issue number 2 will be available next week. So looking forward to that. All right. Defy the Storm. All right. There is another Star Wars, a High Republic book that just dropped.
Another one.
Just delivered yesterday, fresh in my mailbox. This is called Defy the Storm by Tessa Groton and Justina Ireland. Okay. Thank you very much, Keith. Yes. So I have not read it yet. Like I said, I just got it. I can't wait to dive into it, but I'm hearing great things about it. But yeah, wonderful. So another, this looks to be maybe, I don't know, could be middle grade and maybe young adult novel. Look out for that as well. So there is a book that I've read. I actually listened to the audiobook. So let me show you what this book is. So this is called What Have We Here by Billy D. Williams. All right. I have the book and I listened to the audiobook by Billy D. Williams himself. He narrated the whole thing. It is fantastic. I highly recommend that if you are a fan of Billy D. Williams' work, not just in Star Wars, but everything that he's done for the last 50 years in the business. It's a wonderful memoir. Portraits of a Life is what it's called. So I, highly recommend it that you pick it up or listen to the audiobook. And then the last thing, just today, John Williams, all right, who is up for an Academy Award this coming Sunday. I've lost count. This might be 53 or his 54th nomination, but he's up again for the score for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Variety just dropped an article about John Williams. I have not had the chance to read it, but if you're interested,
like a new book.
Yes, thank you.
It is a new book.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for interrupting me.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So John Williams. Yeah. So there's a Variety article that is out there. You should, be able to find it. I can't wait to read it. But yeah, once again, John Williams, 92 years old, going for his 50-something Oscar. 53, 54. So good luck to John Williams this coming Sunday with the Academy Awards. All right. Thank you to our patrons, Broaxium and Mary B. Ghost Daniel says, I'm currently lost it. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're going to get that back. I'm currently reading the first book of the High Republic. I'm loving it so far. Excellent. There's a lot of books. Yeah. So, so take your time, but there's a lot going on. Keith, I see you're already starting to read the book. But before you do, I mean, that's a good thing because I like you to read it, but let people know where they can find us so we can sign off.
Yeah, you can find us wherever you get your podcast, socials, or Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fallen Galaxy, website fallengalaxy.com. Please donate to our Patreon. Please, I need to buy bread. Merch store, fallengalaxy.myspreadshop.com.
Sorry. You need to buy bread? Okay. Is that it?
Please pay me. I need to buy bread.
Okay. Any final comments? All right, let's go. Let's see if there's anything. All right. We have Jose. We need an animated Star Wars High Republic show or movie. How about that? That's a good idea. Well, we know. Well, no, I don't know if we really know. But the High Republic is going to, the Acolyte is going to tie into the High Republic somehow. Outside of having Vanessa Truro as a character in the Acolyte, there must be something else. You may be too young for this, but we do have Young Jedi Adventures that takes place. It's a preschool animated series on Disney Plus, but we love it. You're never too old to learn something from these shows, but that's an animated series that takes place in the High Republic era too. So, but I agree with you. There should be more. All right, and we have hashtag butter cookies. Oh, it's been a while. We've talked about butter cookies.
Yeah.
Councilman Alex, thank you so much. All right, we got anything else? All right, okay. So this has been fun. So I believe the next 2 episodes are back to back, episode 6 and 7, if I recall. So this is going to be good. We're going to break down episode 6 and 7 next week. Actually, you know what? No. I just remember that we are not going to have a live stream next Wednesday. All right. Well, because we have an obligation to do something else next Wednesday. So look out for notifications.
Spider-Man.
No, it's not Spider-Man related, but no.
Here comes the Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to postpone our review of 6 and 7 for another day. We haven't decided which day yet, but we'll keep you posted. But there won't be a live stream this next Wednesday. All right. Because we have other plans, good plans, great plans, actually. All right. So that is it, everyone. So Keith is heavy into the new book right now, and he's ready to sign off. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and listening and watching us. Until next time, take care, and we will see you again.